Getting started with your seamless linoleum block print. What you're going to need to sketch for this assignment is your small linoleum block and your sketch pad. You're going to begin by tracing this linoleum block 3 times for our sketches and brainstorm. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my sketchbook, and I'm going to take the linoleum block and I'm just simply going to place it on my paper, and I'm going to go ahead and trace it 3 times. I want to draw my sketches for this assignment to scale, which means the actual size the block will be. So I'm going to go ahead and trace it 1, 2, and 3 times. All 3 easily fits on one sheet inside of your sketch pad. For this project, we're going to focus our design in the center of the block, and then we're going to actually cut it up and add more details. So, for example, I would draw a main idea kind of in the center of each one of these. So I might explore different ideas. I already went ahead and made a sketch on 3 of these. So the first one I did was a betta fish. I kind of centered him inside the block. The next was a tropical leaf, and the last was some flowers. Now, once I decide which one I like best, I'm going to add more detail to the edges, which is going to help make my block a seamless, continuous print. Once I've decided on my favorite of my 3 options, I'm going to need a pair of scissors and some tape. I'm going to go ahead and go with the betta fish. I like this one best. I like how it has, its fins kind of take up nice space. I think the scales will be fun to carve. So I actually have another version, and what you're going to do is you're going to cut out your sketch. So you're going to carefully cut it out, and we're going to cut it into 4 pieces, and we're going to reposition those pieces and add a few more details to our drawing. So I'm going to cut it out on all 4 sides. Now, the easiest way to make sure I break it into 4 equal pieces is to just simply fold this. I'm going to fold it in half this way to find the center, and I'm going to fold it in half this way so that I have 4 equal parts of my picture. So I now have 2 folds, and I'm going to start by cutting on the center fold. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully cut on that center line, and I'm going to swap my pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and put them, swap left and right, and I'm going to flip them, and I'm going to tape them so the head is facing the tail. Grab a little piece of tape just to hold them in place. Any tape will work just fine. Go ahead and tape. Try to line them up as best you can. Just gonna cut that excess tape off. Okay, now I'm going to cut again, this time across this horizontal line. Go ahead and cut all the way across. And now I'm going to switch them this way. So now I have all the outside corners in the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and tape that together. So carefully lining them up, grabbing more tape to tape together. So I'm gonna lay that tape down and just cut the extra off. Now, because we focused on one main design in the center of our square, we're going to go ahead and add some details. When we add details to the center part of this, it's what connects all of the pieces of the design. So maybe I add some seaweed or some interesting details, some more bubbles perhaps. So now you can see I've added more interesting details. I added some seaweed and some extra bubbles to my design to really fill the space. So I am ready now to transfer this design to my linoleum block. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my pencil and I'm going to go ahead and cover the entire back with graphite so that I can then transfer my design. So just go ahead and fill the entire back with lots of pencil, and we are going to use this pencil along with some pressure to transfer our design to the linoleum block. So really fill it up. You can use a paper towel to kind of smudge it around if you need to, but I'm going to then go ahead and lay it on top of my linoleum block. I'm going to use a little piece of tape to hold it in place so it doesn't wiggle around, and I'm going to begin to trace the design that I have. So I'm going to, using pretty firm pressure with my pencil, go over my drawing very carefully because I need to make sure everything lines up. So putting firm pressure while I trace, and then when I'm done, I'll be able to lift and see my design transferred. Now that I've transferred my design, you can see the pencil here. I'm actually going to take an extra minute and go over it with a Sharpie so that I can see it really clearly for when I go to carve it. If you go over it with a marker, just make sure it's a permanent marker and not a waterproof marker that will bleed and run. Here you can see my print is ready to start carving, my linoleum block here. I went ahead and traced everything with a Sharpie so I could see it really, really well. Now it's time to talk about linoleum cutters.